Hello everybody and welcome to my first sim build, well speed build really, of me actually talking. Yay, 2016 is going to be a big year. Yeah, you're going to hear my voice a lot more often, and I know it's just so much fun to hear, isn't it? Because I'm not happy, I'm not cheerful, and I'm very, I don't want to say monotone, but like, I don't really show my personality with my voice. But yeah, I decided to do the 6x6 house build challenge. I'm not familiar with the rules. All I know is that you needed to have everything within a 6x6. Not lot, but 6x6, home. And everything you needed to live had to be in there. It didn't say any rules about having any kind of decorations on the front yard or anything, and it didn't say anything about no patios, I believe. And I'm doing it very loosely. I do abide by a lot of the rules. So, as you can see, I've already built out the front. I'm trying to decide the layout for the house. I spent a lot of time trying to fit like a diagonal wall because I don't want to eat up too much space, but at the same time, I wanted like a bigger bedroom with a smaller bathroom. And I've seen a lot of people like James from the Sim Supply use a diagonal wall, and I just watched his 5x5 build challenge, and I thought 6x6 was small. You guys should go look at that, because yeah, it was just crazy to watch him build it, and I love his commentary and everything. So yeah, I got inspired to do the 6x6 challenge, and it went very well actually. Like, I feel like I could have fit a whole lot more in there, and everything seemed so open and flowing. But here you see me trying to figure out the best possible windows. Like, honestly, looking back, I could have kept those windows because of the way like I did the kitchen and not done those windows with the lines through them to leave it more open. And you see me doing something with the garden there where I'm trying to make it an even looking space, if that makes any sense. So we still have like 12 minutes to go in this video. Going super slow in my opinion, but I figured like this could be a story time for y'all. So if you've watched a few of my videos before this one, particularly the one where I mentioned where I got fired, now you get the story. So I work in let me give you some background. I used to work in a diner, and I worked there for a good 5 years and been nothing but loyal to the company. My dad was the manager of that restaurant before I even applied. Like, he was the manager when I was young, and I was behind the bar serving coffee, taking orders at the age of 10 or 12. I know there are child labor laws in effect, but it's not like I wasn't getting paid or anything. Like, I would get to keep the tips that the waitresses who came in late or decided they wanted to leave or ignore their customers, like, I got to keep the tips. So I would make about $25 for only being there an hour before school started, and I would be there until someone came and picked me up, like my dad's friend, to pick me to school. So I made like $25, which was great. So speeding up, like, I'm not gonna say like everything was peachy keen or anything. My job definitely has its ups and downs, and one of those ups and downs is the amount of drama that goes on in the store. So with that being said, drama's everywhere. You can't avoid it. Someone's either going to talk about you being a bad server, someone's going to try and bring your personal life into it. It's basically a high school never ends joke. And some people try to take it too far. I ignore most of it. I did pretty good for a while. And for the first 4 years of working at the diner, I worked night shift, which was a 10-hour shift from 9 p.m. to 7 in the morning. Not a big problem. I was dealing with drunks. Most of the time they were pleasant, and most of the time they were not. I have had a gun pulled on me. I have had Somebody threatened to come across the counter and beat my face in. I've had people offer me money to go out into the parking lot and exchange it for sexual favors. Like, no joke. Someone legitimately said, Amanda, you can make about $50 more if you go out into the parking lot with me. And I was just like, I couldn't believe it. Like, these things actually happened to me. And I'm telling you all this because I'm telling you guys that I have a very strong backbone. I have a very thick skin. And I can take whatever people can dish out. Now, mind you, I have never laid my hands on anybody. So with that being said, fast forward to about 6 months. Maybe like a year ago. Not even. Okay, so a year ago, a new guy comes transferred in from another store. He's an older gentleman, over 50, thinks he knows everything. Old dog can't learn new tricks, kind of thing. So basically, I was shift leader. Basically, I knew the ins and outs of my job like nobody else. I was the best. And I know that's not saying much, but it was my job. Like, I had to know everything. And I had to be a manager. We didn't have a manager on the shift. And we had two cooks who were technically designated the role of management overnight. But one was a server and one was not. And they were too busy cooking to deal with customer problems. So I was always front of the house. Like, I would deal with everything except for recooks, and I would give refunds. Alright, about 1 month in, I'm working with this new guy, and it's not a big deal. Like, he's older, whatever, we're doing our job, we go home. There's a text message. But yeah. So, a month working with this guy. And he starts being... He makes advancements towards me, like, I understand you can be lonely, but don't come at me in any sexual way. I do not appreciate it. I don't like sexual advances. It would go from touching to... We worked in a small space, so I can understand being bumped against or touched, but when you start grabbing my shoulder, patting me on the back, like, it progressed until eventually, like, he full on thrust his genitals onto me. And I wasn't happy with it. And my dad, who works at the store, and the two grill operators that I told you guys about, I have a relationship with them, obviously. I've worked with those guys for the past 5 years. And I told them about it, and they ganged up on the guy. They probably should have done it in a better way. Like, there was obviously another way they could have done it. But they ganged up on him and told him basically to stop touching me and to leave me alone, mind your business, don't touch her. She doesn't appreciate it. She's being the bigger person. She's not calling corporate, and she's not reporting this as an incident. She's being an adult. She's not comfortable. Just stop touching her. He flips out. Acting like, man, I never touched her, and she's a liar, and all this other crap. And I was like, I don't lie. It's not something I do. And so, imagine that attitude for the next 7 months. His attitude was revolting. He would get worse and worse. He would make threats at me. He would threaten to make me keep my mouth shut. He would do anything but lay hands on me. He would start arguments with me on the floor. And I couldn't take it anymore. So I eventually got transferred to first shift, which was the morning shift, 7 a.m. to 2 a.m. Well, not 2 a.m., but 2 p.m. And I loved it. The money was good. Money was never an issue on third shift. I would make my money because I knew how to do my job. But yeah, and it was never a problem. And in passing, we would see each other, and he would make snide comments. on Halloween, I baked the whole staff cupcakes with like bloody fingers and bats and skeleton bones all over them. And he made the comment like, "Oh, I bet none of those are for me." And I'm just like, "You're damn right they're not for you. Like, you don't exist. Why would I bake cupcakes for some guy that doesn't exist?" And he got progressively worse. And it wasn't until 2 other servers from that shift came to me complaining that I started saying something to him. They were complaining that he wasn't doing his work, he was sitting down the entire shift, he wasn't taking care of customers, and I believe that to be true because I remember working with him. He is lazy, he's no good, and he is not somebody I would want representing my company. Oh, we got 4 more minutes. I don't think this is going to be done in 4 minutes. I might have to slow down the speed a little bit. But yeah, well, this house is so pretty. Like, I love the pinks and the reds and the blacks and the white color contrast. Love it. But yeah, so last Sunday was the straw that broke the camel's back. Back to the story. He would not help the servers. The store was a mess when we came in. Other servers were upset. I just hit my breaking point. I went off on him, and he cried that I assaulted him. So I got fired. My managers couldn't believe that I laid hands on anybody, touched anybody, or was even vulgar with anybody. But I was. I'm not going to deny it. He needed to be dealt with, and that's that. So I got fired. And the jackass, who's a sexual predator, who goes after customers, flirts with them, is ruthless. Like, he cannot take a hint. He is creepy. Would go after another girl. So, there's my story, and I've got about 2 minutes left to talk about the build, which I'm super proud with. And you see me using the terrain paints because they're so much cheaper. This house, I believe, was almost 37,000 simoleons. I wasn't trying to make it a starter home, but then again, I wasn't using like a whole bunch of expensive things. Most of the money went into, I believe, the outside of the house. And I tried to get like the blackest of black stairs, but that just wasn't working. So I opted for the red. And you see me just putting the finishing touches up there. Yeah. Pretty soon we're going to have the video, well, not the videos, but the screenshots of it. And I went back in when I was doing the screenshots and I made sure everything worked. You can download this on the gallery, but everything worked except for the table. Like, the computer works and everything, the shower, the toilet, the TV, the fridge, the stove, but the table needs to be scooted up towards the front door a little bit so that they can get into the fridge. But besides that, this is my 6x6 build. I tried to use a little bit more contrast in the front, so using this black and red, I used the purple lavender and stuff, and I added a little bit of green to the front of the house to give it a more vibrant, fresh look. And I'm quite happy with it. It's a very sweet build. So, yeah, there's not much I could say about it. I mean, it's on the gallery. My origin ID will be in the box below. And don't forget, if you liked what you saw, go ahead and comment, like this video, subscribe. And if you don't like it, tell me what's wrong with it. Tell me what you don't like, because if you sat through that whole story, you will know that I can take pretty much anything.